Alright, Munchkin Heads. As you can see, it's 07/06/2013, and my name is Leslie Williams. And today I'm going to be going over to UCSD to charge up my computer and possibly more than likely use it. And we're going to see if any incidences occur concerning me, about me, towards me, around me, or against me, because it's over the 4th of July weekend right now. It's Saturday, which means there's not going to be a lot of students. There's no students in classes. The Price Center is probably going to be closed. And if it's not, and I go in there, see, when they stage an event, they don't want any witnesses. The least amount of witnesses they can have when it comes to an event. That's what they hope for. They did that at SDSU, and actually at USD as well, between semester breaks. Yes. So there's the least amount of witnesses in reference to when they pull an incident and then use that incident as an excuse to ban a target. The incident is based on a falsified complaint, a falsified accusation, and then they use this falsified stage street theater. It's where they basically frame the situation to frame the result, which is basically the campus police arriving on the scene and evicting the target based on either the accusation or the complaint. And this is how they operate, literally. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm a target, victim, and activist concerning the crimes of what is known as gang stalking, which can also be called organized stalking. As a result of being a target of this crime, what I do is I develop my own strategies in order to be able to expose the factual realities that this expedition is happening to me. Okay? And one of the ways I do that is predict about what might occur around me or directly concerning me along all my routes on any given day. And if what I predict comes true, excuse me, and is also caught on an audio file, a tape recorder, then it will show that this expedition is happening concerning me. The reason why I state that is because what I predict in part, like right now I have close to probably more than likely at least 700 audio excuse me, at least 700 audio files of the following statements being said around me constantly and in the exact descriptive way that I describe it. And they are as follows: gang stalk, gang stalker, gang stalking, oh my god, gang stalk, oh my god, gang stalker, gang stalking, weird, crazy, oh my god, gang stalk, gang stalker. Exactly in that way. Literally. Yeah. So what I do is when I started noticing it happening around me, I started predicting that it would occur around me once I got to specific locations. And the prediction videos and the prediction audio files were made at separate locations in reference to where the proof was caught at after the video or at least audio file was made, in reference to them being prediction audio files or video files stating to the effect that once I went to specific areas, okay, that I would hear these things said around me once I left the area where the prediction was made. In these video predictions and audio predictions, well, at least in the video predictions, I showed a picture of my cell phone which showed the date and the time. I then leave this area and go to these places, and if what I predict comes true, it's caught on digital tape recorders. Now, in order for me to have at least 600 audio files of this method being utilized around me, concerning me overtly, every single place I go, literally, the same exact identical tactic. It's called sensitization method, using the direct conversation tactic of organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions. And this was one of the platforms that I use in order to be able to expose the factual reality that this harassment is being covertly managed, overtly perpetrated, and 100% protected by the system. Now, if we look at this factual reality that the audio files at least span over a 1.5-year period, which shows stalking on more than one occasion, conspiracy to stalk, obviously, and harassment. All of those are felonies. Then if you have the police not investigating these crimes, or the district attorney's office, you have to look at why. Now they'll state, well, we haven't been given no evidence. I don't think so, because gross negligence of duty literally dictates that if a certain person who has a position of authority is approached by a victim of a crime, and that victim attempts to make a police report or a complaint, and they are not listened to, and as a result the complaint or report is not made, that is gross negligence of duty. Yes. And then if they are continually contacted through either emails, or if their website is contacted in reference to like some contact forms that they have on their own specific websites, like government websites. They have these features where you can literally contact them on the internet, and you tell them that this crime is happening to you, and they do not do one thing to investigate it, okay, then we have to understand and think to ourselves, why? Why is the question. So, my name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California. I have undisputable physical, tangible proof that is huge in its amount and undisputable in reference to its integrity that I am a victim of this crime. Now, I have not only been exposing the methods and tactics being utilized around me as a result of me being a target of this crime, but I've also been exposing the places that have been solicited to engage in this harassment around me, concerning me, as a result of what highly appears that the internet is suggesting. In organized stalking, gang stalking, what is known as the community notification and or the offender's notification is used to notify the community at large in order to be able to get businesses, universities, public libraries, anywhere a target goes to harass a target. Okay? And this can be Googled. Now, in order for universities, public libraries, and businesses, transportation services, yes, and even, well, I'm not going to say that right now. So when we look at all of these different places utilizing the same exact identical method around me, then that shows conspiracy, that someone's soliciting them to do this, because there is no way in heck that the peculiar behavior of individuals getting around anybody and repeating gang stalk, gang stalker, gang stalking, oh my god, gang stalk, oh my god, weird, crazy, gang stalk, oh my god, and possibly even another phrase. And I'm going to introduce that to you right now cleverly for legal purposes, because I believe that they actually are doing the following in order to get me to open up about it. Okay, and then I think that they're doing that in order for me to say what this is all about, so they can then start saying, Leslie, are you this kind of a person? Have you ever been this kind of a person? And if so, maybe possibly the harassment that you're perceiving is a result of possible behaviors you were involved in. Because in organized stalking and gang stalking expeditions, labeling a target as crazy, schizophrenic, paranoid schizophrenic, delusional, bipolar, dimensional, any normal appearing mental diagnosis that would be given to individuals who do suffer from these symptomologies, they will label a target as, in order to be able to discredit the truth the target's telling about what is actually happening to them, to protect the places that they have solicited to harass the target in these ways from legal culpability and legal liability, like premise liability. Yes, because once an employee or an employee or a management of a business takes what is known as the apparent authority to engage in harassment of a target, it's not only conspiracy, but he's also acting for an agent of that business by taking the apparent authority, by using his job to act as a representative for that business to harass a person in a specific way, which leaves the premise liability wide open to the factual reality that certain specific businesses can be sued. So, if it's law enforcement that is illegally or rogue elements in it that are illegally and criminally using these community notifications to notify the business community to harass the target in specific ways, and the district attorney's office won't investigate it, we have to think to ourselves, well, why is this the case? Well, who are they protecting and why would they do so? Well, it would highly appear that if a target never gets any uncorrupted legal assistance in reference to judges, prosecutors, district attorney's office, or city's attorney's office, it would highly appear that they have gotten wind of the situation, okay, and have made sure that the case is sent to a syndicated judge, that the prosecution of the target is labeled as being mentally ill, and therefore this whole thing that the target's claiming is happening to them is a result of symptomologies of a mental illness. And why would they be doing that? Because if the system is being used to solicit conspiratorial harassment, okay, of a person when they enter a business, a university, or a public library, that is leaving these businesses wide open to lawsuits, okay? And so the business will turn around and say, look, you solicited us to do this based on what we were told by you. You're leaving us wide open to a lawsuit, and if you don't protect us, we're going to tell the truth about who solicited us to do this. Yes. Yes. And then it will fall back on the city. Now, since these crimes are directly connected to human trafficking, sexual servitude rings, prostitution rings, land co-opting, property co-opting, trust fund liquidation, identity theft, possible neural enslavement, is there specific technological resources attached to organized stalking and gang stalking expeditions? Well, Examiner.com wrote an article concerning the Hemet Police Gang Squad being gang stalked, along with some Riverside public officials. It stated in that Examiner.com article that sophisticated technology known as satellite technology was more than likely used in order to be able to put the Hemet Police Gang Squad under such sophisticated surveillance in order to possibly set them up to be murdered, along with the Riverside public officials. Yes. And if you go to if you go to Google and type in GS Watchdog YouTube channel, Hemet Police Gang Stalked, you will find a GS Watchdog is a YouTube channel dedicated to exposing gang stalking. They did a small YouTube video concerning the Hemet Police Gang Squad being gang stalked. That Examiner.com article is attached in a link in the description of that YouTube video of theirs. So, when we realize the tentacles that organized stalking and gang stalking and the methodologies that they use in order to be able to try and break targets down, discredit them, stage events, stage incidences for staged arrest, banning targets from stores, universities, public libraries. This is all done to try and wear a target out to make them run from place to place to place to place to get their needs met, because they're now banned from universities where they might be using computers, libraries where they might be using computers to expose the perpetrators, and businesses where they're using that they're going to in order to get their needs met. If they ban a target from a business, a grocery store, they got to then go out of their way to go to another one to get their needs met, which compromises their schedule, which rolls back other things that were on their to-do list for the day. Making a target move and keeping them in the busyness of moving is a method of gang stalking. I strongly suggest you go to YouTube or Google and type in a gang stalking tech. Everything you need to know. It's a manifesto of a manager of organized stalking, gang stalking crews, and this person individually and literally wrote that he is that she is, I think it's a she actually, that she is a manager of gang stalking. Entire police departments have been taken over in reference to what the manifesto states. Lawyers, doctors, judges, using the courts to trap the target, to discredit the target. Now, when we look at these factual realities and then cross-reference what the manifesto states to targets testimonies on YouTube and Google, you can clearly be able to see, just in reference to the cross-referencing of the information, synthesizing it, and deliberating, you'll be able to, I would believe that you would be able to conclude, using at least common sense, deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, and analytical processing, that these four modes of thinking would be able to deliberate and conclude that these organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions are factual realities, and that it is nothing but organized crime in the system that is perpetrating them, making money off of them, using the same system to protect these crimes, and the places that the system has solicited to aid and abet in the harassment of a target, including staged events that can produce arrest, falsified police reports, petitioning the target and accounting mental health, and they will use a judge as well. Make no mistake about it. And in closing, do you remember when Jerry Sandusky got arrested for all those rapes at Penn State? Yes. When his case first got sent to the very first judge, guess where that case was sent to? A judge that was directly connected to the home where Jerry Sandusky set up and was plucking the boys from in order to rape them. That judge was on, I believe, at least the board of directors of that foundation. Yes, they were trying to isolate the exposure, okay, by sending it to a judge who was syndicated. Because it was later even found out, and I don't know how much of this is on the internet, but I did run across a woman who did extensive research into the Jerry Sandusky thing, and she stated on her YouTube channel that Sandusky was part of a pedophile ring, and that they were trying to basically just protect it as much as possible, so Penn State's image would not have been tarnished as a result. Once this was discovered, they just totally let go of him and threw him to the wolves. Okay, now you can look up how Lord Dickerson's murder and rape was covered up, Eastern University. You can also go to Google and type in how a Pennsylvania judge was sentenced to 28 years for pipelining first-time misdemeanor children to the full maximum sentence, because every child that he sent to the detention center, which was privately owned, the detention center would apply for federal funds per child. When those funds came in, part of them were kicked back to the judge. He got caught and got 28 years. You can also go to Google and type in how 4 mentally disabled individuals were kept in a basement for 10 full years because the person who had syndicated probate control of them was basically treating them like straw people in order to call out their checks. And she had the identification card of 50 other people on disability. And how does somebody like her get syndicated probate control of 4 mentally disabled individuals when she had a murder rap on her record? Because it's organized crime in the system that gave her the probate control. Yes, and if you don't think probate attorneys are not involved in gang stalking, you better think again, because that's in part where the land co-opting come into play at. That's where they're literally illegally making targets legal wards of the states in order to put them in syndicated run group homes, so their finances can be co-opted, so their insurance can be exploited, and so they can be exploited sexually. And if they don't have any money or insurance, benefits are applied for in their name, and since the individuals who run the home, which is basically nothing but organized crime syndicated group homes, the individuals who run and own these homes get everything that is applied for in that person's name. And each home can house anywhere between 7 and 13 people. So you do the math. I'm in San Diego, California. You would not believe the insurance fraud that is involved in this once they get the targets placed in these homes. I got to go home in San Diego, California. So it's basically nothing but a syndicate that is using the system to not only land co-op, property co-op, trust fund liquidation, identity theft, mortgage co-opting, human trafficking, sexual servitude rings, insurance fraud, racketeering of all kinds. Yes, and your tax dollars are paying for their salaries, the gas money they use to set all this up, the phone calls they make, and the cell phones they use in order to set all this up. And they're also using law enforcement tools that were meant for safety, yes, to commit crimes. And these are the factual realities of these expeditions. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California. So, let me ask you a question. Are they also involved in drug dealing? Fans Filtration YouTube channel is saying they are. So, what is it, this other word that they're getting around and saying around me, along with, as they're saying, gang stalker, and oh my God. Well, for legal purposes, because I'm going to wait for the right time to bring this to the public, to public exposure, is, you know how the word butthead is 2 separate words put together in order to describe something, or to say, like a phrase? What word are they using around me? Well, I'll put it to you this way. HC reverse. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams, and in time, if I find it appropriate and helpful for me, I will expose that section of this harassment. They want me to. It's the reason why they're saying it. It's a well-known fact in organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions. One of their main methods is to use the target, to screw the target. That's why they use basic human psychology to provoke a target, to get a target to act out based on the harassment that is tailored for that specific person's psychology and for normal human psychology. To provoke them to act out, the target acts out, they get arrested. That's basically where they're using the target to hurt themselves. So if you don't think that the letters HC are not being used around me in order to try and get me to open up about it so that they can then use it against me, think again. Because these are the factual realities of the snakiness, that these people are nothing but filthy criminals, flat out, wide out in the open. I'm not involved in any illegal or criminal activity whatsoever. I am not crazy in any way, shape, or form, and I am not a threat to myself or others. I am a target, victim, and activist concerning the criminal expeditions of what is known as organized stalking, which can also be termed as gang stalking, here in San Diego.